Hey there, everyone. It's me, Samuel Broden, and welcome to a brand new season of Honoring Childhood, the podcast, where we have candid and casual conversations on childhood. I am just so excited about all the amazing guests and conversations we're going to be having this season, and I can't wait for you to join us. So, what are you waiting for? Come on, let's go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Honoring Childhood, the podcast, where we have candid and casual conversations on childhood. I'm so excited that you're here today, and I'm so excited for the conversation and the guest that we have today. Somebody that I have been wanting to get on the podcast for a very long time. I feel like we've talked over Instagram for a very long time about it, and we're finally here. Our guest today is Sharon Calderon, and I am so excited to have her here. She is no stranger to living a life that she loves on purpose. She is a certified life coach, play educator, passionate activist, and proud mama of two pretty cool kiddos. As a native San Antonian, she carries the warm spirit of her community into her mission, embodying the mantra that play brings us together. Through her own life experiences with adversity, she has discovered how the power of reclaiming play and recognizing the importance of emotional nourishment are keys to helping overcome life's most challenging situations. What sets her apart is her innovative, compassionate, and evidence based approach, skillfully merging the realms of play and trauma to help others live vibrant, resilient lives. She truly believes that by embracing play in every area of our lives, we will individually and collectively positively revolutionize the way we learn, love, and live. First of all, I'm obsessed with that. That is like amazing, and I love it
Thanks.
so much. And I'm so excited to have you here.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here. You
And
have no idea.
oh my gosh, and I feel like we've had one of those like Instagram friendships, right? Where
For
it's like
a long time. Yeah.
for a long
Like
time,
probably fangirling
so
and like not even
long,
realizing.
back and forth. And so I'm like, I'm so glad that we're finally doing this. I
Yes.
was so excited when we chatted about it, and I'm just so excited to have you here. So thank you, thank you. Um, and if you want to share anything else about yourself, I mean, you wrote the
No,
most
that was such a
literally perfect
mouthful.
intro. I no, I loved it. And I had kind of like skimmed it before, but I didn't really like read it. And so as I'm reading it, I'm like, this is amazing.
Oh gosh. Thanks. I was like, I wanted to make sure I was like very concise with all of my themes and putting it out there in a coherent fashion that's
No,
like,
it's great.
okay, this is Sharon. So
No,
pretty
it's
much
perfect.
we can end here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Oh, no. I'm so excited to have a conversation with you. So yeah,
Yes.
so just start by telling us just a little bit about your journey,
Sure.
um, and kind of what led you here.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of bits and pieces of my life that it's like looking back on, I'm trying to do that story work right now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
what led me to where I'm at right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like one of my earliest, I think, play memories was I think I was like maybe 7, 8 years old. And I went to the backyard and I had this little what you call it? Like the little Fisher Price water fire hydrant toys.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that was like one of my favorite things as a little kid
Yes.
to play with. I still love water to this day, but like that was like very iconic um, toy. And so I just remember one day, wanting to play. I hooked it up myself because, semi only
Yeah.
child doing the
Yeah. Yeah.
things all myself, independent, and just having a good old time. And then it's just like, I don't know the context around my life at that moment in time, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like how memory works. It's funny. But I just remember thinking in my 6, 7, 8-year-old head, it's like, this might be the last time I play with this toy.
Mm.
And I just remember this wave of grief
Mm-hmm.
and just sitting with the toy and like literally crying. I usually cry
Yeah.
when I tell this story, but
Yeah.
just thinking about little me having those thoughts then,
Mm-hmm.
where they came from
Yeah.
is part of the puzzle of moving forward now,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, where did I even get that idea? How
Mm-hmm.
come I felt so deeply and moved by this process?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's kind of, I want to say, maybe one of the starting points of how I've moved myself
Yeah.
in this work. Um, I had lost my job right before pandemic hit
Mm.
with everybody else losing their job. I was like, well,
Yeah.
that's great. We're all in the same boat
We're
here,
all here.
we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
And I think with a lot of other people trying to figure out their life and what does life even mean, I was at an age where, you know, I wasn't as young anymore, but I still had
Mm-hmm.
some kick in me. And I'm like, you know what? I
Yeah.
really want to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing with my life
Mm-hmm.
besides the regular stuff, like
Yep.
really the juicy, I could be doing this every day kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And having that space to navigate those questions and
Mm-hmm.
play around with ideas. And also, I think an important part is really leaning into like whimsical things that happen, like
Mm.
serendipitous things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got um, going through breakup stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
um, wanting more information on how to really heal. And so I started
Mm-hmm.
following John Kim, the angry therapist, on Instagram,
Mm.
and went through all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
then I want to say I had been on his email list for I don't know how many years. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden I get this like life coaching schooling, like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is that? And so it's like
Yeah.
my own curiosity. It's like following those
Mm-hmm.
little breadcrumbs. I'm like, huh.
Yes.
Hmm. And just like reading about what that was, I was like, holy crap, that's a job.
Yes,
I've
yes.
been doing this for my friends like for free the whole time. Like, what do you mean? So I immediately signed up um for this like I had never like literally I was just like, this is it. This
Yeah,
is it.
yeah.
And then I feel like life coaching has so many um oh, what's the word called? Like expectations or
Oh.
like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like kind of heard of life coaching and
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
either like,
yeah.
oh, that's great. It helped me do this in my job, blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
So they're like really pro life coach. And then understandably, there's also people who are like life coach Tony Robbins, like this
Yeah, yeah,
big
yeah, totally.
mega guru,
Yeah.
like, and that is not what I'm all for. But I mean, with motivation and things and charismatic people, like
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's a thing to get you motivated for
Yeah.
and by. But yeah, like I signed up for life coaching certification
Mm-hmm.
program, and I remember telling my mom about it. I was like, I think this is it, like
Yeah.
what I want to do. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And so it was around Christmas time, and she literally had a check waiting for me in the envelope for my Christmas
Oh.
present. And I'm not joking. I didn't, this was a conversation prior, like she had
Yeah,
already
yeah,
written the check.
yeah.
It was the same amount for my down deposit
Oh
on
my
my
gosh.
coaching program.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, this is meant to
That's
be.
it. That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yes.
I
Thanks,
love
Mom.
those kind of things. I
Yeah.
love those kind of things.
So yeah, so that's
I
where
love that.
I've kind of journeyed in life coaching,
Yeah.
and that was back in, was it 20, the end of 2020.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've really just been on a deep dive of figuring out what it is I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
Um, and in my official academia college
Mm-hmm.
education is in early childhood education.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's like taking the world that I loved about
Mm-hmm.
the early childhood world and play and fun. And I was like, that was like the question for me. I was like, what do I want
Mm-hmm.
to do that's fun? Like
Yeah.
allowing myself not just to earn money, not to,
Yeah, yeah.
have the benefits, because that was something I was doing. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people are like, well, is that a real job? Oh, I hate that
Yeah.
question.
Oh
Like,
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what does that, mean? And
Yeah.
how do you move through the world with that kind of expectation that, if you're not in a 9 to 5,
Yeah,
push,
yeah.
corporate
Mm-hmm.
job, doing whatever, getting the
Totally.
benefits, and this goes for a lot of early childhood
Mm-hmm.
educators.
Yeah.
Because I've also done that too. It's like being in the classroom or even the littles, like the 1 year
Mm-hmm.
old class was one of my favorites to work in when I worked at daycare during my
Mm-hmm.
college time. But yeah, like the lack of respect for anything that's
Totally.
not, money,
Mm-hmm.
necessarily money driven.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
just trying to ask myself, what's something that's meaningful for
Mm-hmm.
me that I can see like building something out of. And
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing since, was it 5 years now?
Yeah.
So
I
um
love that.
I think the healing work that I've done for myself, like recognizing trauma
Mm-hmm.
and relationship stuff, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like understanding why you do the things you do, why other people do the things they do, and how our bodies work
Mm-hmm.
um outside of the systems that we all live in, and learning all about that. Literally, like my type of play is Googling things
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah,
fun of
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
just being like, this is amazing. I want to
Yes.
know more.
Yes.
So I could get lost, down the YouTube rabbit hole,
Totally.
down Podcastville, like
Yes.
that is
Yes.
my kind of play, the intellectual kind, and
Mm-hmm.
recognizing, um, you know, not everybody's play is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't fake your fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can try, like trying to pretend, like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
this is great, clubbing,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, I love
yeah,
this.
my
Yeah,
feet are
yeah.
killing me,
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes.
But yeah.
That's so funny. And you know what I think is so interesting is like, and I've said this so often, but it's like I feel like the pandemic time was obviously like very traumatic for
Right.
all of us, right? This kind
Yes.
of trauma that we were living through. But it's like at the same time, I feel like it gave so many of us that chance
Right.
to have time to figure out, is what I'm doing what I want to be doing? What
Mm-hmm.
could I be doing, right? Discovering all these different things, and so I love hearing stories about that because I feel like that's such a common thing that so many of us had, right? Like
Right.
I mean, I learned how to bake bread, right, with thousands of other people at the same time, right? And it's
Yeah.
still something that I do now. And so it's like there's things like that where it's like if I hadn't had a chance to discover that part of me or discover those things, right? And so I always find that kind of balance really interesting of like such a traumatic time.
Mm-hmm.
Um also being like somehow beautiful at the same time
Yeah.
and being an important time for so many of us. And so I always love to kind of hear other people's stories around that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think that I don't know. It is that idea of just finding what is it that brings you joy?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that makes you feel good, that makes you feel happy, and it is something that you can't pretend, right? And so I feel like as adults trying to find what that looks like, and then also understanding that that is play, right? That
Yes,
is
exactly.
that is our
You're doing
play,
it.
and I don't know, I find that so interesting because it's like we consider this idea of play as something that is for the children.
Mm-hmm.
This is the children. They play at this, and then at this time it stops. You're
Eh.
done playing, right? And I just
Yes.
find that interesting because it's like I look at so many adults now, right? And I'm like, if we just all try to go back to a playful mindset,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would do wonders for us just as people and then us as a society. And so
Yes.
I'm really excited to kind of have this conversation with you about play for adults and
Right.
play for us because I feel like for those of us that work in early education or who work with children at all,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about play a lot, but we never talk about play for ourselves. It's always about play for the children and all the
Right.
benefits and all this and all the great things, but we
Hmm.
never put it on for ourselves as well. So I'm just really excited to kind of dive into this
Yes.
and just kind of hear what you have to say, hear what you think, what that means to you, what this idea of play for adults means for you.
Right. That is, I wrote down this question because I wanted to make sure I said this because this is for me the driving question every day of what it is that I'm envisioning
Mm-hmm.
and trying to bring about in this world. And I said, what would the world be like if we never stopped playing?
Mm. Hmm. Hmm. God.
Right? I know. I'm just like,
Like,
and just like
so
literally like sinking into the feeling of what it would feel like, what it would look like,
hmm
what would be possible at every age, not just, childhood, but it's like it starts there, but
hmm
like everything that we've going to like biology and evolution is
hmm
like everything that we need to grow into a functioning, fully functioning human,
hmm
we're already designed that way.
Right.
Like without, you know, um, technology, without, the
hmm
things that we have been told that we need in order to like grow and succeed in things. And it's like just base brass tacks. Like
Yes. Yes.
we
Yes.
come downloaded with the
Yep.
background, all the DNA, all the codes,
hmm
all the whatever you want to call it. But it's like, you know, if and people out in the world still live like this. Like they don't
Uh-huh.
have the the language that we use, but
hmm
they or the systems we use,
hmm
but they are still functioning people, like
Yes. Yes. Yes.
um and I think that having children be the model of how to, best work in society because it's like,
hmm
as an early child educator, I can witness children, modeling together empathy
hmm
and
hmm
sometimes not. And then
Yeah.
that's how they learn those skills to
hmm
practice over time and they gain capacity through their play in doing those practices.
hmm
And it's like as an educator, kind of facilitating and also making the opportunity,
mm
like presenting the opportunity. So it's kind of like guided, but it's
Yeah.
like you kind of have an idea of what could happen in this space.
hmm
I think a lot of play workers will understand that.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
who work with children to create play,
hmm
opportunity for play. Um, and that's, I think that there's just so many things that are separating adults from children.
hmm
And I think some of it does stem from our expectations that we learn
hmm
as children
hmm
about adulthood.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
allowed, what, because that's the development of children. It's like,
Yeah.
right, like they look to adults to model
hmm
what's up with the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
what I can do, what I can't do.
Yes. Yes. And then yeah, we get to be adults and then it's like, okay, I have to be whatever it is that I saw, and
We don't question it.
yeah, at all. Because no one taught us what it was like to question things when we were
Right.
younger. And it's so interesting, something that you said, and I was like, I don't know, it kind of like blew my mind a little bit. But it's
Okay.
like we spend so much time as adults who work with children with this idea of like I'm modeling for them
Mhm.
different things about life, right?
Right.
It's important for me to do X, Y, and Z because I want them to see that, whatever, all that stuff.
Hmm.
But you mentioned something about the children modeling for us
Hmm.
what we could be going back to. And that literally made me like stop. And I was like, we spend so much time again. I don't know if it's like all this stuff is like happening right now, but it's like we spend so much time in this like adult-centered mindset, right? In our
Right.
work of like I'm the adult. Like even if we're moving past, those ideas of like control and compliance and but
Mhm.
we're still in this adult mindset of like I need to do this. This is how I need to model, this is what I want, blah blah blah.
Right.
And we never or we don't usually think about what we're receiving from the children or what
Mhm.
we're getting from this work,
Right.
just as much as what the children are getting, right? And so this idea of watching the children and seeing how they move through the world, seeing how they use play, seeing how they use this playful spirit, this like kind of child like mindset,
Mhm.
and how we can see that and how we can bring some of those things into our own life, I think is something that a lot of us don't really think about, right? Again, probably because of those experiences that we had,
Right.
right? That are so rooted in this idea of, and I say this all the time, this whole idea of like the adult is all the way up here and the child is all the way
Yes.
down here, and
Yes.
that's it, right?
That's the
And
hierarchy.
that's all that it is. And
Yeah.
we were taught that when we were kids in school,
Mhm.
our parents and adults before us were taught that, right? And it's this
Mhm.
kind of cycle. And so, being able to kind of break that down and realize that there is so much that we can learn
Mhm.
from just watching the children,
Right.
so much of that healing work, right? I say that
Mhm.
too a lot. Like the work that we do can be healing for
Right.
ourselves and for the children who are inside of us and all of that. But I just found that so interesting when you said that about just like watching the children model things for us
Mhm.
and trying to view things through their eyes a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Right. It's like getting back into what is it? I like to frame my work. I think a lot of people will assume like, if I call myself a play coach for adults, they assume like it's all about inner child healing work.
Yeah.
And that is part of it, but it is also getting in touch with your like true self
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
regardless of age, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
the essence of who you were as a child to begin with, as you
Mm-hmm.
started out in this world before those social expectations became your frame, became
Mm-hmm.
your identity, became
Mm-hmm.
your how you moved through the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like I think a lot of people who want to maybe get in touch with play again are just really afraid to. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
I've lost it.
Yeah.
Innocence is gone. Like I've
Yeah.
seen things.
Yeah.
Um, and going back to like how children can affect you as a teacher if you
Mm-hmm.
let that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
one of some of the worst years that I have in this body
Mm-hmm.
were as a pre-K child
Mm-hmm.
teacher, not in the classroom, but my own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not wait to get to the classroom every day because I knew that the classroom was my safe space.
Mm-hmm.
It was me teaching, learning, getting, face to face, level
Mm-hmm.
with these children. And it's like there was this love that, um, that would flow.
Right.
And it's like that was what got me through a lot of that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just sharing, you know, sharing and play
Yeah.
is what really got me through.
Yeah.
And I think why I'm so adamant, especially in hard, difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
And then thinking back about our lockdown time and pandemic, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what was the thing that got us all through? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you hear people going on Marco Polo and
Mm-hmm.
chatting it up like, but we hadn't before. We're doing Mario
Mm-hmm.
Kart
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff. And it's
All
like
of that. Yeah.
that was play in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of difficult times. And it's
Yes.
like that it gives us like solace, it gives us
Mm-hmm.
reprieve,
Mm-hmm.
but it also gives us strength to like continue.
Yeah. And I find it so interesting too. I feel like whenever we mention play or we talk to adults about play,
Mm.
there's like this idea that like and I've told this story before, but whenever I do workshops or anything, I always like to spend a big chunk of the middle of the day and it's like play for the participants, right? And so I'll tell them like, okay, we're gonna spend the next hour and I just want y'all to play. Um,
I'd be like, yes.
right? And there's like a 5 to 10 minute period where everyone is just like blank stared faces and
Staring at each other like, what do we
they don't
do?
know what to do. And it's interesting because they correlate me saying that it's time to play with, okay, well I need a toy or I need they have this idea of what play is, right? And so then we have this conversation of like play is for you something that's different than maybe for me, right?
Right.
So it's like this is part of my play, what I'm doing literally
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
Talking to other people about this is play for
Yeah.
me. Being in the kitchen is play for me. Go whatever it is, right?
Hmm.
And so breaking down what it actually means
Right.
because we all have this mindset of like, well, that's it's for children. They use it looks like this. They have
Right.
toys, they have this, they do
Right.
this, whatever the it's like boxed in as to what play
It's got
is,
to be
right?
outside. It's got to be
Yes.
with people. It's got to
Yes.
be
But it's like
open.
there's so
Yeah.
many things that all of us do all the time.
Right.
That's play, right?
Hmm.
Where whatever it is, right? We're playing on the Switch or we're doing things together or whatever it is that we're doing. There's so many of those things. Like those things are our play, right?
Hmm.
Those times when we feel happy and we feel content and we're not worried about anything else and we feel like ourselves and all of
Hmm.
these things. And so I always find it really interesting when we have to kind of like break down exactly what it is and what it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Um, I don't know. It's just there's so much as we just get older that like we feel like we have to leave it behind, you know,
Hmm.
and you know, I talk about this a lot too, but my husband enjoys watching like old cartoons, like
Hmm.
Tom and Jerry and stuff and things like that. And so he'll watch it all the time and he said to me before like, is it embarrassing for you
Hmm.
that I like this or that I do this? And I'm like, it makes me so sad. But I'm like,
I
no.
know. That's
I'm
you,
like, no. I'm like, why?
boo.
And he's like, well, it's like kids. It's like for kids. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we need to like all of that, right? And
Hmm.
so it's really breaking all that down and being like, if this is something that you're enjoying, if it's bringing you joy, if it's making you feel like yourself, if it's all of these different things, right?
Right.
This is that play for you. And so I don't know, and that question that you asked, right? About what if we never stopped playing? And I just like think like there's so many of us who are struggling in life
Hmm.
with a variety of things, right?
Hmm.
Not only individually, right? But I mean, if you live in America, we're all in a collective sense of
Right.
trauma, I feel
Right.
like. And so there's so much that we're all dealing with. And it's like if we were to embrace this again,
Hmm.
I just feel like it would make such a shift. And again, right, when we're
Hmm.
talking about what it was like during the pandemic,
Yeah.
yes, there were a lot of things that were awful and a lot of things that were not good for a lot of people.
Hmm.
But there was so much time that we were all discovering those things about ourselves again. There was all this time where we were connecting in different ways again,
Right.
um, where we were kind of going back, right? And so it's like if we were able to kind of harness those types of things from our childhood, from this idea of play and keep it going for us now, like it's just it would be such a different world.
Right. Right. I think also the hard part of, or one of the harder parts of being an adult in this world, um, is is that pressure to be somebody,
Yes.
to have the degrees, to have the
Mm-hmm.
titles, to have
Mm-hmm.
the status, to have the money, to have all the things. And it's like, you know, looking at statistics, but it's like a lot of rich people are not happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they are, it's not necessarily an authentic
Mm-hmm.
version of that.
Mm-hmm.
And now and then it's like after realizing the power struggles that we've had um, throughout our life, it's like it's come from rich down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just like realizing the massive significance of the trauma of like play deprivation
Yeah. Yeah.
of a whole species of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's been kind of my diving work
Yeah.
lately. Just like, oh, holy moly, like how do we get money?
Mm-hmm.
Where does this greed come from?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and how, like how does it morph in generations,
Mm-hmm.
and like it builds a legacy, and
Yeah.
it's like we're now living out that legacy of greed
Yes.
for like centuries, and this is
Yes.
the fallout that we're experiencing here in
Yes.
America.
And it's that's so funny. I just saw this post that someone put and it was like we we were meant to or we could all just be like in nature eating fruit
Yeah,
and
on the
playing
beach.
and making things and growing things and all
Right,
this, right? But we've like created this like society of like
we got credit scores, what the
yeah,
heck.
hell yeah. All of that, literally. And so that
Yeah,
is that's so funny to me. I mean, funny in like a sad way, right?
right,
But
laughing till we're
like
crying,
yeah, I
yes.
mean, sometimes. But it's like and it's like there is such a deprivation of that because also I feel like along that line of like you need to do this, you need to do more, work more, make more money, do more things, right? All this stuff, right?
Right,
I worked 80 hours this week. Woohoo, you're such a good worker. All of that
right.
mindset, right? It creates a mindset of anything that you're doing outside of that
Mhm.
is not important, does not matter, means that you're lazy, means
Right.
that you're this, it's all these things, right? So I feel
Hmm.
like not only are we losing the meaning of play and the importance of play, but also we're still like fighting against this idea of like it not being worth it or worthy
Right.
or it's it's very, very interesting because, we'll be like, yeah, we should be spending more time in play. We should be spending more time doing this, right? And it's like, well, I don't have time for that, or I can't do that, or it's not,
Right.
or even like people like, it's like people can't even just have a hobby anymore.
Right.
There's
Right.
always this idea of like, you have to make money from it. You have to
Right.
make money from it. You have to make money from it, right? And so it's just
Hmm.
this like wild cycle of like,
It's
we
never
can
enough.
just yeah, we can just play and we can just have fun and you can just do these things. And so I feel like it's definitely like a journey to like get there because there's a lot of that kind of like reflection and shadow work and all of those types of
Hmm.
things that we need to do
Right.
to kind of think a little bit differently about those
Hmm.
things, right? Because I mean, even if we look at kids now, like even in early education, the
Yeah.
time for play is
It's vanishing.
shrinking,
Hmm.
shrinking, shrinking, older, 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 gone, gone,
Right.
gone, right? And so it's
Hmm.
just I don't know. There's so much to unpack about that, but I just
Hmm.
feel like this talking to adults more about play for them
Right.
is one of the ways in which we can change so many things about our world.
Right.
And the more of us that start to do that work and the more of us that start to play and start to be playful, um, I think can really be a big shift
Right.
in our world.
Exactly. And I think that, I, in starting doing this work with adults, it's like I kind of, yes, it is for the adults, but my back end goal, it is for the children.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
is for the children because
Mm-hmm.
the adults are the ones with the power, the the information, the capabilities
Mm-hmm.
of creating the opportunities for the children, but it's not until they do that inner
Yes.
discovery work of why they don't play,
Mm-hmm.
of what is the actual cost of not having play over a lifetime for them,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing that in a global perspective
Mm-hmm.
and seeing a playlist world. And it's just more of this greed, this lack of empathy, this authoritarianism,
Mm-hmm.
all of the things that we're seeing percolate now, um, or screaming rather,
Yeah, hello.
it's because of a lack of play,
Mm-hmm.
of a lack of play in childhood, in adulthood, and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like as adults, if we're not showing the children that there's a place for play when they grow up,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Exactly.
they're not, they're not gonna cherish that part of
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah. And it's like even doing this work with adults, right? Like doing this work with adults, helping them to realize these things, helping them to move to that space, right?
Right.
Yes, it's important for the adults. It's important for us. It's important for each other. But also, adults recognizing those things, realizing, seeing the deprivation of play, seeing the importance of it, we at this moment of time have the power as the adults to be the ones to make the changes, but we also
Right.
have the power as the adults to show the children what things should be like.
Right.
Because just like we were saying, right, we look back on our own experience as children in school, and I look back on mine, and it was all about control. It was all about
Mm-hmm.
shame. It was all about
Right.
compliance. It was all about these things that we've all just come to accept
Yep.
as part of childhood, right? Because that's what the adults were showing me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the adults showed them, right?
Right.
And back and back and back.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're kind of all in some sort of awakening, hopefully in some parts of our lives,
Yeah.
we can start to make those changes and show the children that, right? We can show the children that we're creating something different
Right.
because this is important.
Mm-hmm.
Then the children are going to grow up and know this is important. They're going to have a different viewpoint of so many things in life
Yeah.
because we're creating a different space for them than what we had, right? We're doing all this work and
Right.
it's difficult and it's a long process to
Mm-hmm.
do these things because we didn't have spaces to know how to do that or
Right.
to know that that was important
Right.
or any of those things. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me it's always been my goal to help children to not have to have the same journey as I
Right.
did.
It's
I
like
don't want that. I don't
I
want them
want
to do the
better.
same
I just
thing.
want better for them. Is
Yes.
that okay?
And they're so and that's something that in itself is something that we need
Right.
to unpack because so many
Mm-hmm.
adults that I talk to,
Right.
my God, oh, it's
Mm.
always like, well, I had to deal with this so they could deal with it too. Or
Right.
this happened to me and I'm fine, so they'll be fine.
Are you
And
sure?
I'm let's unpack that. Are you actually fine?
Yeah.
And let's unpack it. It's fine. You're not. It's okay. Let's work through that. But it's like that's such a common idea among adults of like,
Yes.
well, I had to do this. This is just what it is. You have to do it too. When instead of
Mm-hmm.
thinking like, how about we actually unpack and think, did you enjoy that? Was
Mm-hmm.
there things that could be different?
Right.
Did it make you a better person? Okay. We should be wanting better for the people who are coming after us,
Right. Right.
even if we're not going to be able to see the fruits of all of that, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like there's so much about that to unpack, but I think that just this idea of going back to a playful mindset and
Mm-hmm.
being open to being in play as an adult,
Yeah.
um, I think can just be really, really powerful, especially now.
Yes.
Like I just feel like things are I really feel like things are just going to get worse until they start
Mm-hmm.
to get better, right? So
Right.
we're in such a tumultuous time. Um, for all of us. And so I just think that if we're able to talk more about this, if we're able to practice this more,
Right,
um, again, like we were talking about pandemic time, right? It's something that can help us through
right,
these times.
right. And it also reminds me of the social movement work
Mm,
that the Blacks people did. And then
mm-hmm,
they always say like joy and resistance. And it's like
mm-hmm,
that legacy of their work. And as a white person coming into that work and just awe because of
mm-hmm,
the horrible things that have happened for them.
mm-hmm.
And yet they still can dance.
Yeah.
And going into sometimes why it's hard for people, adults, to play is because they are judged.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It's like, making space for Black joy.
mm-hmm,
Um, not in judgment for how they show up or,
mm-hmm.
you know, I think part of what I want to help do with play and help others as well do with play is it's like trying to think of the different powers that play gives us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that something that has been normalized for me growing up in San Antonio, we have a lot to celebrate about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was just a normal thing. We have Fiesta every year.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Spurs when they were winning,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so for me, that celebratory piece has just been part of who I am. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of power in a lot of collective power in being able to celebrate together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when play, I'm keep saying it, when play becomes normalized for
Yes.
adults is when we can, as a collective, really celebrate one another and celebrate,
Mm-hmm.
like, dang, look at this earth. The earth
Yes.
be earthing, yo. That's great.
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Like, it's not just about the people, it's about where we live, about the earth,
Mm-hmm.
about taking care of it. And it's just like once I was figuring out, the opposite of the trauma is the play. It's
Mm-hmm.
what who we become as people. It's the process to repair. It's
Mm-hmm.
so it's like there's that human. I guess it's like a human experience spectrum. It's like
Mm-hmm.
trauma is where we are. A lot of us
Mm-hmm.
have been.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that they just stay that way. Like this
Yeah.
is who I am. I'm callous, and
Mm-hmm.
I have to be whatever they self-identify as
Yeah.
an adult. And it's like they don't realize that play is always available. They just have to
Mm-hmm.
like choose it
Yes.
and really, really, it's more of like a purposeful work.
Mm-hmm.
um, and that just even owning the desire to want to play is
Mm-hmm.
a very like vulnerable place
Yeah.
as an adult. And so it's like
Yes.
trying to really celebrate
Mm-hmm.
all the little steps to get us to where we want to go.
Yeah.
And then learning how to be open in figuring it out, like you were saying, like
Yeah.
the process is the play, it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily the outcome.
Yes. Ugh. I feel so like I don't know. I just feel very like filled right now, full of joy and excitement, and I don't know. You have a way of saying things that is just really powerful,
Thank
and
you.
I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm excited for I mean, all of you just heard it, so I'm excited that you got to hear it.
Yeah.
But no, it's so important. And again, I just feel like this is the time for that. This is the time for those things, right? Like these changes and revolution and all these things, it happens during tumultuous times. It happens
Right.
during turmoil. And so I feel like that's what I keep trying to focus on as
Mm-hmm.
we keep getting bombarded with like
Right.
trauma.
Yes.
Just like all of that, all the negativity, right? I just keep trying to think like this is the catalyst maybe for these changes that we want to see.
Hmm.
And you know, we're a part of that, right? Talking about these things, right?
Hmm.
Sharing these things with other people, connecting with other people, all of that is just so important. So I don't know. I just want to thank you so much again for coming on today because
Yes.
I just really feel like this conversation was needed for me at least. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of things that I'm taking from this conversation that I'm gonna practice and use going forward. And so I just want to thank you for sharing, you know, your words and your passion and your ideas. And
Thank you.
it's been really wonderful. And I would love it if you could tell people where they could find you if they want to
Sure.
hear more from you, which they will, obviously.
Thanks.
Obviously.
Thank you so much for having me. I know
Of
this is
course.
definitely part of my play in talking about all the
Oh
things I'm
yeah.
learning about play.
Oh yeah.
Um, just to help make the world a little bit better, hopefully a lot
Yes.
better. So
Yes. Yes.
you can find me. The majority of the time, my internet playground is on Instagram. It's
Mm-hmm.
share.ing creations. I'm also giving a little bit of a sneak peek here, but I'm starting up
Ooh.
an online play community for people,
Yay.
for adults specifically, and like everything that we've talked about
Yeah.
to do this work of reconnecting with play, no matter where, whatever readiness you're at, either play curious or play passionate. Folk play people who are doing play work
Mm-hmm.
in their work or want to learn how to really integrate it in whatever field they're in. I'm kind of hoping to create a collaborative space. I would love for you guys to join me. So
Oh,
I can have a link for everyone
yes.
to find out more
Yes.
information.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. And I'm so excited for you to do that. And I'm just
Yeah.
excited for all of that. So all that is great. And all the links will be underneath the
Yeah.
video and the audio. So yes, thank you again so
Thank
much
you,
for
Samuel. I
coming
love
on
this.
today. It was great. It was great. And thank all of you for watching and
Yeah.
listening to this week's episode of Honoring Childhood, the podcast. And I will see you next week. Bye, everybody. Hi. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Honoring Childhood, the podcast. Make sure that you like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below to let me know what you thought about this episode. Make sure that you're also following the podcast wherever you may be listening. Also, be sure to check out my books and follow me over on Instagram at Honoring Childhood.